Did you know it takes roughly 66 days to form a new habit? Studies actually show that this can vary from person to person. So in today's video, we're going to talk about life-changing habits and how you can stick to them in your daily routines. So what are habits? Habits are automatic actions that often stem from learned behaviors and patterns. Habits can significantly impact our lives, influencing our health, our productivity, and our overall well-being. Developing positive habits can lead to personal growth and success, while negative habits can hinder progress and lead to various problems. So the science behind habit formation is vast. I don't want to get into all of the details, but for generalization, there's this thing called the habit loop. It's cue, routine, and then reward. Every habit starts with a cue that triggers a routine, and then it's followed by the reward. So understanding this habit loop will help you form your new habits. And so when we repeat a behavior, our brain constructs new neural pathways that really help hone in and make this automatic over time. All right, so we'll talk about some strategies that will help you develop your positive habits. So the first strategy that I want to talk about is really starting small. If you start with small changes rather than the big changes, you're really going to see more progress over time because you're not getting overwhelmed by constantly thinking in your mind, well, I've got so much stuff to change. And that may be true, but the only way you're going to help change that for the long term or your future self is just by starting really small and then defining that as you continue to go on. And for each new behavior you create, just move on to the next one. And then in addition to this start small mentality, you really want to be specific about the goals and the habits you're trying to set. So let's say you're just saying to yourself, I want to get fit. Okay, well, that's a generalized habit. You need to break that down and be more specific. So you want to get fit. That might look like I need to exercise for 20 minutes 3 times a week. And in doing so, you're going to be able to track, be able to identify, like, am I actually doing the steps necessary to create this positive habit? Once you break down the specificity of these new habits that you're trying to form, what you want to do is try to use triggers to sort of help bring this along. So for me in the morning times, it'd be like, all right, I'm having my morning coffee. And in addition to having my morning coffee, that sort of kicks off my whole morning routine in terms of getting ready for work, making sure that my daughter's ready to go for daycare, and then also assisting my wife in making sure that we get everything taken care of so that we can go and start our days on a positive note. And then guys, the last strategy for this really is just tracking your progress. You want to jot down journaling. I've talked about this in many videos. The only way you're really going to know if you're actually beginning down the path to create positive habits is tracking your progress. So you grab a journal or just grab a piece of paper that you're constantly writing your notes on. Obviously your phones are readily available too. You got notes, apps in there, there's probably habit track apps in there too that you can download and utilize. So tracking your progress, guys, is going to be a surefire way to make sure that you're actually taking the steps necessary to form these positive habits. All right, now we're going to go into some tips on how to stick to positive habits. And obviously this can be very difficult for most people, but I do feel like some of these tips are very simple and straightforward, and it will help you make sure that these habits stick for you in your daily routines. All right, so the first tip that I have for you guys here is just to be consistent. In almost anything you do, consistency is going to increase the likelihood that you're going to improve at that something tenfold. So when you're talking about forming positive habits and the habit loop, for consistency to work in this scenario, you want to start to cue that positive habit at the same time every day. So for me, for my daily, my morning routine, I have my cup of coffee, which sort of kicks off the start of my morning routine. Again, it's getting up with my daughter, making sure she's getting ready for the day, making sure my wife has, enough support to kind of get herself through the day, and also getting myself ready for the day. And that just kind of continuously perpetuate itself every time you're going to begin to perform that new habit every time in the morning. So again, consistency in forming this new habit, try to kick it off at the same time every day if you can. The second tip I have for you guys is just really accountability. Obviously, I talk about me and my wife doing a lot of these tasks together because at the end of the day, we're holding each other accountable to our actions and to the tasks that we're setting forth and the goals and, so on and so forth. So, it can be your best friends, your coworkers, your mom, your grandma, your dad, whoever. Just share what you're going through and these new habits or these new goals or, exactly whatever it is you're trying to do in life. Having an accountability partner in that aspect is really going to help you stay focused and stay consistent and striving to meet those goals or develop those new habits or whatever have you in the long run. All right, the third and the final tip that I have for you guys, which might be the best tip I can give you, is to be patient. Be patient with yourself because these things, whether you're trying to build positive new habits, but if you're trying to destroy old negative habits, trying to pursue goals, growth within yourself, it's not going to be easy, but it's definitely a simple process. But still, at the end of the day, you got to be patient with yourself and give yourself enough grace. It's not going to happen overnight. It might not happen for you in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Heck, who knows what the time frame is, but I can guarantee you that if you're consistent and you give 110% intentionality behind it, you will form these new habits and they will make your life better in the long run. All right, so a short and sweet video for you guys today. So just a little recap of what we covered. Obviously, we covered understanding habits, the science behind building positive habits, the habit loop, strategies to create new habits, and then tips to stick to them so that you guys can find success in everything you do over the course of your period and in your daily routines. Thank you guys so much for sticking all the way through this video. I hope you find some helpful tips in here, strategies that will help you build your positive new habits. Teaser for the next week's video, really we'll be breaking down how to, effective methods, how to break bad habits or negative habits. So we'll get a nice counterbalance of positive habits and then also how to break down the bad habits and replace them with positive ones. So if you're looking forward to that, in the meantime, if you want to watch a really cool video, you can go ahead and watch this one next.